All right, so I've cleaned this with isopropyl alcohol. Really good, well, pretty good. And now I'm going to do the unthinkable. Something I said I would probably never do. I'm gonna put acid on my car. The thing is I'm putting it on the inside of the car, not the outside. I will not put this on the outside of the car. A little bit more maybe. And this is my car. So if it fails, it's my car. No one's gonna sue me, no one's gonna bring it back and have me do it over. That's the good thing. That's the good thing about not working for other people, I think, is that you don't have to worry about stuff like that. When you're doing paint jobs, man, there's so much that goes into it. It's just really unbelievable the amount of work that you'll put into this. And if you're doing it for someone else, these shops and stuff, and something happens, the chemical just doesn't work right with the, or it's, maybe it doesn't have enough activator, it doesn't, just, there's so many things that can go wrong. And then the paint starts blistering after, 3 or 4 months or whatever, and they bring it back to you, and you have to repaint the whole thing. You lost your ass. I mean, you've lost your ass, and I can't even imagine. Wouldn't want to do this for other people at all. But for me, blisters, okay, I'll fix it. That's the good thing about doing this for myself. This piece here, I've got it all finished, ready to go back on. Just did this one piece, went through the whole process like I'm gonna do to that, but this piece is ready to go. I left this like it was because I liked the thought of having some of the original blue paint in there, and this is all good. This is, it's not rusted or anything. It may look like it in my camera there. A little spot there I need to cover up, but yeah, that's U-pole weld through, copper weld through primer. If you're wondering, and we'll see how it works when I go to start welding it back together. If it starts blowing out because it's pretty thin through here, I'll make another piece. But for now, let's get on this. You guys have been kind of wondering how I was going to do this. I've taped all this off, the places where I don't want the acid to run down. This will be the outside of the car. I'm going to try to stay away from that area and keep stuff from running down it. I've got plastic underneath. I don't know that if this plastic will, this is not strong enough acid, it shouldn't go through that. I say that, it shouldn't. If it does, it does. It is what it is. But, so yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'll start on this side and start going that way. And we'll see how this works out. All I wanna do is just kind of wet it down. Let me move this out of the way before I trip over it. Cause something bad to happen. So, instead of just kind of getting it wet, my goal here is just to get this orange light. You see I've taken most of it off already with by mechanical. So this will get the microscopic stuff, or at least that's the plan anyway. And then after this is done, I'll come back, reactivate it, clean it real well, and take it outside and blast piss out of it. I actually do want to kind of get down in these seams, and like I said, if it fails, it is what it is. But I'm going to run a wand up inside here. I think we talked about that. And do the internal frame coating. That way I get the inside really well. And yeah. So yeah, I just went and bought a brush, or bought a whole bag of brushes actually. Trying to stay off this area here as much as possible. There's some rust down in here, but don't want this running down in here. At least that's my plan. And I am going to take this off as well, But I have to put that on and do this first probably so I can make sure I get under there real well, so I'm not overly worried about that area. But I want to have the back and the front one on before I take the middle braces off. And there's only these two and then two over there. Well, and then this one here, and I got the new one for back here. So it's taken me a long time to get to this area, and I'll tell you why. My personality is that of a perfectionist, and if you know anything about that, you'll know that perfectionists procrastinate a lot. And why that is because perfection is impossible to obtain. I mean, you can strive for it, you can get as close as you can to it, but you end up, at least for me, I end up procrastinating a lot because I'm like, okay, I want to figure out the best way to do this, the most proper way, the way it's going to last the longest, all the stuff, you know. So you end up doing everything but this because you're like, okay, I got to do all the research, and it ends up biting you in the ass when it's all over with because it takes so long. So I've had to do a lot of overcoming that and just say, look, I can do it as best I can. That's all I can do. That's as good as it's going to get. And leave it at that. Walk away. I mean, that's just what's going to have to do. It's awesome that people don't have that. I do. I happen to get that. I always call it a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. I mean, when you're done, it's going to be amazing because you've taken the time to love it up real good. But also, you know, there's some people that it freezes them up to where they can't even finish a project because they're afraid it's not going to be perfect, which it's not. It's just not. Much as you want it to be, it's just not going to be. I may stay off of that for, let's see. I'm going to blast that anyway, so I don't know that it necessarily matters if I stay off of it. I was going to stay off that paint, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. It's going to be blasted off there anyway. So I don't think I'll take you through this whole thing, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. Just coating the rust and the bare metal that I've got here. I'm not going to mess with this. I'm going to blast that. It doesn't have any rust on it, really, so there's no sense in doing this where it doesn't need to be done. And it'll be interesting because I'll be leaving this on here for a little bit, probably several days. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. Imagine it'll be just like the other thing that I did. I went a little overboard with that piece, just trying to make sure I was getting it right. And like I said, I just finally came to the conclusion, man, dude, you just need to get this done because the car's already going to outlive me by far, probably. So get on this. actually do want that to run down into those center of those areas. Make sure it kills or neutralizes that as much as possible. Like I said, I may be surprised. This plastic may not hold that. It may eat holes in it. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. I know they say you don't want this stuff on concrete because it will etch the concrete, depending on if you care about your concrete. I forgot to put my gloves on. That's gonna run down my hand. We don't want that. My stuff for that's coming in tomorrow. The catch can, all the power steering stuff, so that'll be nice. I can move that out and move this over to get it in a primer, get it all sealed up from the elements. It is 13% humidity in here right now, so it's about as nice as I'm gonna get. I think it's 23 or 27 outside because it's a little bit cold. So I thought now's the time. It's a good time. All right. Make sure to get everything shiny. I was heading under, wasn't I? And yes, if I could dip this car, I would have had it dipped in this acid, because that would make it a lot nicer, easier. But there's nowhere around here that does that, so I'm not going to travel to another state with this car to have it dipped. So this will have to work. And whatever I don't get to this, it'll get blasted. So, oh great, I think I have acid on my head. Yep, sure enough. Well, that'll probably start burning. So let me get that off there. It's on the camera too. All right. I'm sure that'll still burn. What's a little acid on your forehead? Let me make sure my camera is facing correctly. And it is. Right in the center of the screen is where I try to put it, and then I bring it down on my gut. That way if I'm looking down, at least that's how I try to do it. I've got all these pieces to do still too. All right. Looks like that's pretty good. I come around this side. Let's see, that doesn't look like rust, that does. All right. It'll be interesting to see how many black pits this brings up after I've cleaned it like I have and not polished it, but sanded it, got all the paint off of it. See how much of this actually comes up. You can see that's going to come up with the little pits already, but I'm not going to worry about that cross brace up there because I'm going to take that off, so I'm not that concerned about it right now. It'll be easier to actually coat with it off the car. At least that's my thoughts. All right, I think that's probably going to be it. I'll go back around this and look it over and see if I missed any spots that don't look wet, but I think for the most part that ought to get me where I want to be. You can tell this stuff here is going to definitely turn black, pit up, or that's pitted. All right, so I'll cut it at that. Just one part of the process. Obviously, I'll bring you along for the rest of it. As I clean it and do all that, I may put a little bit more on this area here since it's so badly pitted. So, yeah, there you go. You guys have a good one. Well, have a good Thanksgiving too.